That's it, guys. Now we can definitely say that the Samsung Unpacked event is finally happening in February. We've seen it on the Samsung's website. We've probably all of us have seen the teaser already, and it's by the looks of it, it's definitely gonna be something special. It is rumored to be on the February 9th, but it's not quite yet confirmed. And to be honest, I just can't wait to see it. There's still about 3 weeks till the event, but with numerous leaks that we've seen, I guess we pretty much know what to expect from the S22 series. The lineup is going to be represented by S22, S22 Plus, and S22 Ultra. And the S22 and S22 Plus are going to look very similar to the previous year S21 series because it's going to have the same rounded corner design and it's going to have the similar camera module, but they got a completely new design for the S22 Ultra. Kinda. Honestly, I guess if you were to call it S22 Note, it would make more sense because that does look like the previous Note series. And honestly, if you put it next to Note 10 or Note 20 or Note 9 even, I don't know if you can tell the difference because they look pretty much the same. So I guess we can call it S22 Note, but we'll find out at the unpacking event. Historically, the Ultra phones from S series and Note series devices were very similar and they had the same processor, they had very similar camera setup. The Note would just take an edge at like battery capacity or slightly bigger screen and S Pen support for productivity, which a lot of people enjoy, including myself. I still use my Note 10 Lite and I really like the device. And I think with the S21 Ultra, they kind of tried to solve that problem when no new Note came out. And they added the S Pen support, but I guess that not a lot of people quite took it well because there was no in-phone housing for that S Pen, and you would have to buy a separate case for it, and it kind of looked weird, to be honest, and it looked asymmetrical if you ask me. And I guess that with this move, Samsung is just going to try to remove the struggle of choosing between top-of-the-line S device and top-of-the-line Note device by kind of combining them both together and just offering the best of both devices. And of course there's compromises to be made here in terms of the design because they had to go with one design and some people love the rounded corners, the other people say they hate it and prefer the square corners and vice versa. And of course you cannot win the hearts of both sides, so they went with what they went. So let's talk about the design. And it's pretty much the same as with the previous Note series devices like Note 20 or Note 10. It has the same prolonged square corner design. And the only difference is honestly the camera module this year. It looks like it's not going to be like a single block or a single camera module. Instead, it's going to be a separate lens kind of design, which I honestly like, and it's not sticking out as much, which means if you put it on the flat surface, it's not going to wobble as much, or if it's going to wobble at all. In terms of the camera setup, it's going to have 108 megapixel main camera, two 10 megapixel telephoto cameras and 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, and this layout is pretty much the same as with the S21 Ultra of the previous year, except it says that it's going to be a little bit better with an improved HM3 sensor that's going to take much better night photos, and for the video the stabilization is also rumored to be improved by 48%, which is a lot. But I guess what's important here is how much work Samsung put into optimizing this camera, because all the lenses out there are very good lenses. The only problem is how good a company can optimize that lens. And we can see it on Pixel devices, like they don't have the best of the best lenses. They have good lenses like any other flagship phone, but they put too much work into optimizing that camera experience and image processing. That's why we have such a good camera quality on the Pixel devices. So I'm really curious what's going to be this year for Samsung. On the front, it's going to have 40 megapixel camera with the punch hole being right in the middle. The screen is going to be 6.8-inch Quad HD LTPO AMOLED display with a refresh rate of 120 Hz and a max peak brightness at 1800 nits. And I guess if that confirms, this is going to be the brightest screen out there so far in terms of the mobile phones. And it's going to have the very durable Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. Of course, the processor is going to be powered by the top-of-the-line Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 but unfortunately for some countries it's going to be powered by Exynos 2200. So sorry guys, but in terms of the performance, it's not that bad for the multi-core performance, and we've seen some leaks on the Geekbench results for the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 versus Exynos 2200, and we can say that the multi-core performance is about the same, but the single-core performance is lacking for Exynos 2200. For those of you who love S Pen out there is impressive news, because the latency for the S Pen is going to be reduced from 9 milliseconds on the Note 20 Ultra to 2.8 milliseconds on the S22 Ultra. And that's great news, and supposedly it's going to feel like you're writing on the actual sheet of paper with that such a small latency. And for those of you who love to draw on the phone, who love to do digital art, it's also be a great news, because you're going to get more precise with your art, considering the rumors are confirmed, of course. For storage and RAM, it's rumored to start at 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, and go all the way up to 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage, which is great news considering how there is no SD card support, and you can also record 8K video with 30 frames per second, which is going to take up significant amount of space. So if you need that, you're definitely going to have to go for the higher storage option. The phone is going to come with a 45-watt wired charging and 25-watt wireless charging, and it's going to be powered by a 5,000 mAh battery, which is a slight bump from the previous year. And it's nothing extraordinary in terms of the charging speeds, because we've seen 65-watt chargers and 120-watt charging phones that charge it super quick. But this one you can probably expect full charge in probably under 1 hour. That definitely sounds exciting to me, and I can't wait to have it all unveiled at Samsung Unpacked, hopefully on February 9. We don't know if all these rumors about the specs are correct, and we're gonna find out later, but if you just can't wait and you definitely know that you're gonna get one of these phones, you can go ahead and reserve a spot now for pre-order and get some extra perks from Samsung. Alright, and that was it for today. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for YouTube algorithm, hit subscribe button if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!